Guten Morgen, es ist 7:30 Uhr. Willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe Nummer 57 von Pferdestärke, hier im wunderbaren Reno.
Good morning, I'm Leilani Schweitzer and I'm here with Nik Hafermaas for Horsepower episode number 57. Nik is visiting us from Pasadena Art Center where he is chair of the graphic design department and acting provost. So Nik, last night at the Nevada Museum of Art, when you gave your lecture for Reno Tahoe AIGA, you talked about how you feel that Nevada exemplifies how the rest of the world views all of America to be. So can you tell us what you feel, how you feel the rest of the world views America and how Nevada exemplifies that?
Well, I mean, I cannot speak for the rest of the world. I just can speak for a very tiny bit of the world, which is Germany, and an even smaller part, which is Berlin, where I came for 4 years ago. But what drew me and my family actually to explore the West and actually to move to the United States was the notion that, hey, America, that's home of the free and land of the brave, or the other way around. And coming to California, I must say that this is not quite true anymore. To us, it's more the land of the warning disclaimer and the pending liability suit. And now coming up to a place like Reno or Elko and driving through Nevada, we feel a little bit more of a different vibe.
Can you tell us why you're in Nevada now and what you're working on with the Nevada Museum of Art?
Well, I have the privilege to work on a yin and a yang of two exhibitions that will be opening and running at the same time. Both exhibitions are hooked on a famous cowboy poetry poem by...
No, that's right, Buck Ramsey.
Buck
right.
Ramsey.
Thank you.
Thanks. That looks pretty good.
Yes, please.
We hate water.
Don't you wish you all were here with us at Joseph's Bakery right now so you could join us for breakfast?
And the project is a collaboration between the Nevada Museum of Art and the Western Folklife Center in Elko. And it is starting in conjunction with the Cowboy Poetry Gathering that will take place in mid-January.
Right, because this 2009 will be the 25th anniversary of the Cowboy Poetry Festival.
That is correct.
Right.
And those two shows, they work together in showing two different aspects of cowboy culture, Western culture. One is the excellent craftsmanship, which is going to be celebrated in Elko. And the other side is the interpretation of the Western idea and the Western ideal of cowboy culture in contemporary art. And this is taking place in Reno here locally in the museum.
So can you talk a bit more about the contrast between the craft, which is, as you showed us last night, the saddles, the bits, the leather work, and how you're taking what's something that is an old craft and putting it into a really contemporary, modern setting. How do you see the craft versus the contemporary art?
I grew up on a diet of Bonanza and all kinds of other movies and very strong cliches of what the rest of the world thinks cowboy culture is. And it's always hay bales and barn doors and all of these kind of things. And it's never really forward-looking, and it's never very contemporary because in its very nature it is something that is about tradition. So what I'm trying to do in the show is to honor the excellent craftsmanship that goes into, and high culture that goes into the artifacts like saddles and bits. But on the other hand, to elevate the way it's presented to a level where how normally high-end haute couture fashion would be presented in a store in Milan or something like that. I'm going to paint the entire venue black. I'm just going to use white chalk and create an artificial sky just made out of chalk. So very simple materials, no material value to it, but craftsmanship in a very unusual way. The saddles will be displayed out of darkness, almost like in a jewel case, with very pin lights, very narrow on it. Well, it's a commentary. I wanted to have something that is a trace of the modern, nowadays landscape, with all their scars and all the things that are obstacles and that are a token of modern times, and use that a bit as a commentary in the show, and do it with the most formal restraint, however, so that it will look very, very stylish and very, very refined. I don't know if that answers your question.
It beautifully answers. Yeah, right before. Well, as our breakfast is getting cold, I just want to ask you one more final question. So, Nik, you are chair of graphic design at Art Center down in Pasadena, and I want your thoughts about how now so many tools to execute creative thought, as far as inexpensive video cameras and YouTube and design software, that those tools are accessible to everyone now. How do you justify and how do you feel that design education is important, that you can't just take those tools and become an artist?
Yeah. Well, great art tends to be, and great design tends to be not dictated by the tools it's made of. So I think the fact that you're talking about the democratization of tools, of making videos, and it started out with desktop publishing about 15 years ago, that like everyone was going to be a graphic designer because you can set type in a straight line. This kind of argument has been around for a long time, and I think it validates and makes it even more important to invest into your own design education, because otherwise the tools are just tools, and you can tell by the results.
Right.
So I think it becomes more and more important to educate people into every facet and aspect of design, in order to not be a pixel monkey at the end of the day. To rise above the commodity of the tool, and we do that by really fostering creative skills in terms of research. Graphic designers, for example, have to write their own texts. They have to have an own opinion. They have to hack all kinds of tools that are available to create something that is unique and not dictated by certain Photoshop filters and so on. Graphic designers used to be the pretty makers. Once a project was completely conceived, tested in the market, engineered, everything was done, they would come in and do a little brochure or a little bit of labeling around it. And what we do now is we try to teach the students in the whole range of producing something, of conceiving something. And that could be a service, that could be a product, that could be a campaign. And so the scope of what people have to learn now has become much more complex.
Thank you for joining us for Horsepower episode 57. Be sure to check out all of our other Horsepower episodes at blog.12horses.com. Thank you.
On Prost.
Oh, Prost.
Prost.